my grandchildren. I dug for about an hour, and I found this, which is really cool looking, but it's a rock. Nothing really big. And then I found this that doesn't look like much of anything, but this is a bone. So I'm going to keep digging to see if I find something else. And I love you. Hello, my children. I have found a bone. And this is my bone. And when I get back to the lab, I'll find out what kind of bone it probably is. Isn't that cool? We are out here in the beautiful Montana countryside. This is the Badlands. And I'm going to show you the Badlands, and then I'm going to show you what I have been digging for the last hour or so or more. Here is our dig team, and they are learning how to plaster a fossil to protect it.
You're taking pictures.
Until they
No,
get...
if you're taking pictures, I'd just love to get pictures of Carl doing that.
She's taking a video.
I'm doing a video.
She's doing a video.
Awesome. Okay.
And this is them putting plaster on a fossil, and they've got to protect it
Now pick
so
the
that
edge.
it doesn't
wrap
fall
around
apart.
knob,
The bones are
wrap
very
around
brittle.
there.
But look at this
Try to keep it off the
countryside
ground a
here.
little bit. That's it.
This is the Badlands. Very hot, very, very, very dry. So he's found something in the side of the dirt, and now he's trying to plaster it to keep it together as he digs it out.
And you'll do the same thing on the back, but you want to overlap. Try not to get too close to the ground, but certainly cover it.
Recording that, babe.
There you go.
I'm still recording. I'm just
Wrap it around the knob.
letting the experts talk.
There you go. Make sure the plaster is reasonably tied up against the foil and the bone.
So Tommy, you don't mind being on my YouTube channel, do
I
you?
do not mind at all, no ma'am.
I don't.
What about you, Carl?
Just don't show my face.
Oh, okay. I won't show your
in
face.
3 states and I can't remember the other 4.
And make sure you get up on the knob.
I doubt it.
Kind of bridge.
You just hang it over the side.
Recording.
I don't think so.
I'm just thinking I have
You have
you
to
off.
press.
It's recording, yeah.
There you go. Yeah, if you can turn it underneath any at all.
I would ask.
Yes.
But just let, he's busy right now, honey. Just
Hang
put
on
it
just a
aside.
moment, okay?
Yeah.
Then you can ask him
And
later,
so
okay?
just run
It's
your
not one
hand
of those
over it,
things
kind of make sure it's all nice and smoothed out.
that
You don't
need
see
to know
any
right this minute.
burlap or anything showing.
Yeah, sir.
It's like Play-Doh.
It looks good. Let's let it dry, and you're good to go. Excellent.
Smile and
All right,
wave.
let's get you in here, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Oh, you are looking at a bone here and a possible bone up here.
I had to take a little break.
We don't know yet. We have to dig around
I
it.
think
We
don't
know
think
that
there's
this
any
one
more
down
in there.
here is a bone. We're not sure about that one up there. So we're going to wait and see as this pans out here. So here's the expert here. You're already on. It's going. Go ahead.
All right. We've got a little piece of bone right here. We think it might be turtle. We already pulled out a piece sitting right down here. Now we got a piece of coal right here. We're going to scrape this out. This is a layer of clay. And what we're trying to do is to not disturb the bone too much until we've got it exposed on all sides. And so part of it is just trying to understand what is it doing in those areas that we can't see. And so we keep working back.
And the brush. You need the brush.
Okay. Move some of the sediment out here a little bit. While it may be easy enough just to reach in and pull these bones out, we can actually do extra damage because we haven't identified the full scope and scale of the bone. Woo-hoo-hoo. Looks like it's still going back a little bit, which is nice. Where are you going to stop, little fella? Alright, I think we got it. So, work back here just a little bit. It moved on me, which is good. That tells me it's broken loose from the ground. I'll stick my knife under here, pry it loose.
Alright.
And there we go. Now we have our bone.
Is our bone. And that will match the other little bone I found, which is right here. And then together,
And then
they
these
will
two,
be plastered together or glued together. They use glue to put them together.
and that'll make the whole piece that we had in the ground right there.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Broken up today into 3 little parts. We dug until lunch and then broke off and had lunch, and then we went to dig in another spot and I found some more bones. So I found a little bit of bone in each spot. Nothing big yet, but there have been some big finds. And now I'm gonna go for our 3rd and last dig of the day. So wish me luck. Hours and hours and hours of work, and I wasn't even recording.
Oh no.
So, children, this right here is a bone.
There you go. Look
And
at
this right here that looks like a bone is not a bone. And this one right here that looks like a bone is not a bone. But this one right here is a bone.
Yeah.
So I've got to dig back into the wall to find out how I can get this bone out. Really cool. Takes a long time.
There's my wife. She is there. Got part of this bone. Put your
Okay, so here's the bone.
yeah.
And here, this part has already broken off and it really goes this way.
Okay.
But this part right here is the bone and it's going into the wall. So I get to dig into the wall to find the rest of the bone.
She's now going to cover it up to keep it protected.
So
Okay,
that
she
I can
keeps things off it.
go back behind it and try to get
All
more
right,
of
she's
it
a crack
out.
around there. Show that.
Let me get the, I did have a little screwdriver, but
Okay, I'm
I'm
going to turn this. So we've got the stabilizer putting on there.
And which way does it go? This way, right? On
Yes,
top?
it goes that way.
So basically, it's a penetrating super
Okay,
glue.
should I push it close to it?
We'll just leave it, because this is not going to like hold it in place. As much as anything, just don't want to lose it. And it still may not hold it. If that gives you just a little bit of tackiness. Now, just keep on working up in here. Working through all that right there, okay?
Okay,
And we'll see what's going in there. Like, if it keeps going a little bit further, then we'll have to get bigger on it.
okay.
Yeah, just stand next to the axis.
Okay, so my bone is right here. And now my finger is going all the way back here and this bone is still growing. So I'm going to put my little measuring tool beside it there, and the bone is going all the way in. And so I got at least like 4 inches out right now, so that's fun. Okay, so here is a look at my piece now that I've gotten it back in the lab. Okay, here is one part of, okay, where am I? There we go. Here is one part of my bone, and it goes right here, but I've got to clean everything off, and then this part right down here is not bone. It is just sediment that my bone was glued to keep it stabilized while I got it out of the ground. Now this bone is, I'm thinking probably half of what I'm going to have, and I'd say this is maybe 4 inches, 4.5 inches long. I'm just guessing. Let me put it all together. When I get that piece there, my hand next to it. So we're thinking maybe a rib, and I still have maybe 4 inches, 3 or 4 inches visible left in the ground that I'm going to have to get out on Friday. So these are my little treasures. This is the one that is the biggest one, and this is the one that still has a good bit of bone left in the ground that I'll have to get out on Friday. This is probably a rib. And then this, I'm not real sure what it is, but he says it's definitely bone. He thinks it may be from a turtle, but is not sure. This is just a piece of bone that I glued together right here because it was broken, but it is one piece of bone. Not sure what that is. And this is another piece of bone. Again, not sure what that is, but it is indeed bone. And this little bitty tiny piece is bone. So those are the things that I have cleaned up already.